Hi, welcome back to my channel, The Wellbeing Guinea Pig, and I'm your host Jenny. Today I'm going to talk to you about my beauty regime. But it's slightly different because I'm not going to do what I put on top of my skin. I'm going to talk about what I put in my body. I also cook with the ghee. Not so much with coconut oil because ghee has and butter, and even the grass-fed rendered beef, even though they're saturated fats, they have a really high boiling point. So you can sort of fry. I do fried chips in this fat and also in ghee, and it means that the fat doesn't oxidize. So when if we're cooking fresh home chips, fried chips in sunflower oil, that's really bad. It oxidizes. It's omega-6 that our body, we have so many things with omega-6 in. The grass-fed beef is fat is omega-3. So we need to make the ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 erring more on the omega-3. We have so many things in our diet that contribute to our omega-6 that we don't realise. The other thing I like to do is, I know that says ghee on there, but this is bone broth, and bone broth is extremely good for the skin, and it also, the same with ghee, bone broth, which I tend to cook with the chicken bone, and I'll cook it for a very long time, and then this is the broth from it. But the bone broth, as well as the ghee and butter, produce what's called butyrate in our microbiome. So with all the colonies of diverse microbiome that we have residing in our gut, these organisms produce what's called butyrate, and that heals and seals the gut. And this is why we tend to get a lot of bloating issues or IBS issues. It's because the cheesecloth in our gut is open. Now butyrate from these organisms, that they put out this chemical to heal and seal this butyrate, and it's extremely cleansing to our body. So if that's, and you can imagine if that's doing that to our gut, you can imagine what that's doing for our skin. So it's really a good thing. And then we come to the omega-3, which I get from, I also take a krill oil, which I keep in the fridge, and I take that before every meal. So obviously I have 2 meals a day, 12 o'clock, and then usually about 5 o'clock, and I'll take 2 of those. But probably 3 or 4 times a week I'll have mackerel. Again, I want to reiterate here, wild, I don't have any farmed fish unless I'm out at a restaurant, but I always keep it wild. It's more nutrients, it's nutrient dense, So yeah, I always put my super berries in. I usually have probably about 2 spoonfuls of this a day after every meal. And this, obviously we know with the vitamin C, it's really good for collagen. It's packed with resveratrol and polyphenols, and those are disease-fighting benefits to the super berries. I also eat blueberries, eat blackberries. I love the berries, and they're really good for you. I like to have, in conjunction with having the super berries, my dark chocolate. Now usually I do buy the 85% dark chocolate, but this one's 70% because there wasn't any in Asda when I went. But anything 70% dark chocolate or above has got the health benefits that we need. Again, the resveratrol, the polyphenols, all the lovely. It's the colour density that really shows us that it's really nutrient dense and disease fighting. Again, as it's packed full of antioxidants, so that's really helpful to our skin. It makes sure that we've got, you know, those blood vessels working and they're dilating, and it really just makes everything flow, and the detoxifying pathways of the body, you know. It's all extremely cleansing to the liver. There's lots of different properties to all of these that work in conjunction together. The other thing I want to talk to you about, I've got three things left, this one is turmeric and black pepper. The properties in turmeric and black pepper that make it so special are curcumin and piperine. Now, we've and I'm sure the viewers have heard about the anti-cancer benefits, you know, anti-disease, it's anti-inflammatory, there's so many benefits, you know. We'd be here all day with this one, and there's a lot of published papers to show the benefits of being a disease-fighting agent. But adding piperine to it, the black pepper, makes it more bioavailable, more bioavailable by nearly 2,000%, which is a massive, as you can imagine, you know. It's a perfect combination there, and it also goes past the blood-brain barrier. The piperine allows it to go into the brain, so it sort of, you know, quashes all that oxidation that potentially is going on. Especially, you know, all this is extremely important to me because of going through anxiety and depression. Basically, your brain's on fire. So to know that there's things that you can put into your body to protect you, and while you're going through hard times, just adding things like this in is a protective agent for those brain cells of yours. It's really good to know, but it's good for the skin. You know, it really is an agent that's an all over magic thing to add to the body. And this, and again, you know, the way I look at things now is to prevent. It's not to get to a point where you've done so many bad things to your body and you've really haven't taken care of yourself, and then you get a diagnosis from the doctor, and then all of a sudden you try to rush to change your lifestyle. The way I look at it, and what I would like to say to people and get the message that I'd like to put over, is to have these things in as a preventative measure. You know, it's just something that is easy to incorporate, and then once you start changing your habits around certain things, it becomes like second nature. But you do have to start, you know, putting these things in on a regular basis. The last two things I'm going to talk about, I'll talk about my love of black rice, and it's the same. It's more or less the same properties in the super berries, the dark chocolate that make this so special. It's so nutrient dense, and the black rice is so tasty. You know, and it's that lovely dark purple colour that give it the polyphenols, the resveratrol, all these lovely tastes and textures. You know, you can add it with every meal really. And then I'll come on to the last, but certainly not least, which I've got to tell you at the moment for me, doing a coffee enema or even an essential oil enema, is really very beneficial to me. The reason why I say that is because what I've found now is that the medication that I'm on, the antidepressant medication, is slightly bunging for me, which I've never experienced that really. Not to be crude, but I'd only have to think about going to the toilet and I could go. But now this medication's slightly bunging to me, and I've kind of just thought to myself, well, you know, it's a healthy thing to do to have bowel movements daily, preferably even 2 or 3 times a day, as many meals as we have. That's how we should be going to the toilet, but once daily for sure. And I tend to do a coffee enema every other day. The coffee, it's got to be specialised coffee because it's lightly roasted. You can't just shove any old coffee up your bottom. It's got to be lightly roasted coffee, and it's got to be organic, because the same principle as me talking to you about the pesticides, fungicides and herbicides, it applies the same in having the coffee enema. Now that gets absorbed into the body, and what you don't want to do is take that into the liver and the kidneys and have a lot of pesticides, fungicides and herbicides in the system. So, you know, for detoxing purposes, you want to have the best. You need to put the best into your body. You know, you try and cut corners in any area of your life. If you cut corners, you're not going to get the results that you want, you know, and this is what I'm learning. So even though I've talked today about putting things in your body to help your skin and to be healthy, I do want to finish by just my view on the way that we sort of compete with each other as females. I mean, the males do their thing, but I think as females, I do get quite disappointed in the way that we nowadays we're in this capitalised society where we just climbing on top of each other to get to the top, and it really disappoints me that us women relate to each other in that way. It's something that doesn't come into my mind to you know, to use other people to feel that I've got something, or I've, you know, accumulated some sort of wealth. And yeah, I just feel quite disappointed in us a lot of the time, us girls, because I do think we should work together better than what we do. It's lovely to look nice, and it's lovely to present ourselves over in a way that, you know, we feel like our ego is being soothed, and, you know, we stand out to people. But I really think it's the detriment to ourselves, because what I've tended to find now is the more real and authentic that I am, and the more real I present myself to other people, the more warmth and centred that I feel. And I think it's lovely to have grey skin, and it's lovely to have a nice new coat, or, you know, all these lovely material things. But I think above that is to really come together. And it's been a horrible year of being apart and not being able to touch each other, and that is one thing that's very difficult for me. But I really do feel that I'm hoping that when we've got through this period, we can relate to each other differently, and we've learned things along our journey. I know I am, and I'm learning every day. And the course that I'm taking to be a life coach teaches me things, and I really am enthusiastic about it, because I want to go on this journey learning about being the real me, and not a facade, and not something society wants me to be. I want to be nice to somebody else, make an impact on their life so they can feel good about themselves. And I think if we all had that ethos, I think things would be a lot better in our world. So ladies, as much as it's great to have your lips and your eyebrows and big hair and big makeup, and it's secondary to what we're giving back in service. And my life from this day forward is going to be about service. So thank you for listening to me today. I've really enjoyed it. Please subscribe and click the like button. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video.